If they achieve space dominance, it's curtains for us all. Humanity poses a threat on a divine scale. Veron, the Arcturian, asserted, slamming his clawed fist on the conference table, causing it to crack slightly. The Galactic Council buzzed with murmurs of alarm and disbelief. Ridiculous, scoffed the gelatinous Borian Ambassador. Look at them, primates barely out of the Stone Age. Vaughn's head tendrils pulsed with rage. You fool! Their weapons technology is nearly hegemonic, and their rate of advancement is unprecedented, he retorted. The chamber fell silent. Veron continued, forcing calm into his voice. If we don't act now, humans will rule the stars, and there will be no stopping them. The council erupted into heated debate, some advocating for military intervention, while others favored diplomacy. Theon, a respected Arcturian diplomat, proposed sending a delegation to establish first contact and assess the threat firsthand. After much deliberation, the council reluctantly agreed to Theon's plan. A small delegation, led by Theon, was dispatched to the solar system. As their ship dropped out of hyperspace, alarms blared. We're being targeted, the navigator reported in a panic. Theon frowned, studying the readouts. The humans' early warning systems were more advanced than anticipated. They had been underestimated. On Earth, the sudden appearance of an unknown spacecraft in the solar system sent shockwaves through the global community. World leaders convened an emergency meeting to discuss the unprecedented event. Do we have any idea what we're dealing with here? The U.S. President asked, her brow furrowed with concern. The Secretary of Defense shook his head. Our experts are still analyzing the data, but one thing is clear. That ship is not of human origin. A tense silence filled the room as the implications sank in. Humanity had always suspected they might not be alone in the universe, but to have that suspicion confirmed in such a dramatic fashion was staggering. We need to establish contact, the Chinese president insisted. This could be the most significant moment in human history. Back in orbit, Theon and his crew attempted to hail the humans on every frequency they could think of, but were met with only silence. They're not responding, the communications officer said, frustration evident in her voice. Theon tapped his claws on the armrest of his chair, deep in thought. Keep trying. They may not understand our language, or they could be afraid. We must be patient. As the delegate waited for a response, Theon couldn't shake the growing sense of unease in the pit of his stomach. He watched the viewscreen as human military satellites and vessels began to converge on their location, forming a defensive perimeter around the planet. The humans were mobilizing their forces, and Theon knew that any misstep could lead to a disastrous confrontation. He only hoped that the Council's worst fears about humanity would not be realized. As the world held its breath, watching the skies for any sign of the alien visitors, a shadowy group was already plotting their next move. They called themselves Earth First, and their leader was a man named Damon Blackwood. He was charismatic, ruthless, and utterly convinced that the aliens were here to subjugate humanity. We cannot trust them, Blackwood said, his voice low and intense as he addressed his inner circle. They come here unannounced and expect us to welcome them with open arms. No, my friends, they have a plan, and that plan is to enslave us all. His followers nodded in agreement, their eyes gleaming with a fervor that bordered on madness. They had all heard the rumors, the whispers of advanced technology that the government was keeping hidden from the public, technology that had been reverse-engineered from salvaged alien artifacts. We have the means to fight back, Blackwood continued, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. And we will use those means to send a message to these invaders. Earth is not theirs for the taking. In a secure underground bunker, Earth First hackers labored relentlessly to breach the alien delegation's communication systems. It was an immense challenge, but their determination bordered on obsession. Days stretched into weeks, and the world watched as the alien ships maintained their stationary orbit, creating palpable tension. It seemed any slight provocation could trigger a conflict engulfing the entire planet. Then it happened. The hackers succeeded in breaking the alien encryption. What they discovered confirmed their worst fears. The aliens spoke of Earth as if it were already theirs, discussing colonization and resource extraction, even mentioning pacifying the human population if they became too troublesome. Blackwood's expression turned to one of cold fury as he listened to the intercepted communications. You see, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. They come with talk of peace, but their true intentions are clear. They mean to subjugate us, strip us of our freedom and dignity. Turning to his followers, his eyes blazing with righteous anger, he declared, But we will not let that happen. We will fight and win for Earth and humanity. The attack came suddenly. One moment, the alien ships orbited peacefully. The next, they faced a barrage of missiles and energy weapons, their hulls buckling and rupturing. On the lead ship's bridge, Theon could only watch in horror as his fellow delegates were vaporized before his eyes. Alarms blared, warning lights flashed, but it was too late. The humans had caught them completely off guard, and they paid the price for their complacency. Evasive maneuvers, Theon shouted over the chaos. Get us out of here. The pilot, a young Arcturian named Zakhos, did his best, but the ship was already badly damaged. Consoles exploded, filling the air with showers of sparks and the acrid smell of burning circuitry. Through sheer force of will and a stroke of luck, Zakhos managed to navigate the crippled vessel to the edge of the solar system. Behind them, the wreckage of the once proud Federation fleet drifted, a testament to human ruthlessness and ingenuity. Theon slumped in his chair, his head in his hands. He had hoped to foster a new era of peace and understanding between their species, but instead, he had led his people into a trap, with the blood of countless innocents on his hands. As the ship limped away from Earth, Theon realized the Council had been right all along. Humans posed a threat to the entire galaxy. Now, it was up to him to find a way to stop them before it was too late. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos reigned as the surviving delegation members reported the unprovoked attack by humans, sending shockwaves through the assembly. Veron rose to address the council, his claws digging into the podium. "This is what I warned you about," he exclaimed. "Humans are a menace, a threat to our society. They must be dealt with swiftly." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room, but Theon, still shaken from his escape, stood to speak. "I understand your anger, Veron," he said, his voice trembling. "But we must not let emotions cloud our judgment. The attackers were a fringe group, not representative of all humans." Veron rounded on Theon, his eyes blazing. "A fringe group with access to advanced weaponry," he retorted. "This is the true face of humanity, and we must respond accordingly." The debate raged on, with each side presenting arguments and counterarguments.
Ultimately, Von's Position prevailed.
The Council voted to assemble a massive fleet to invade Earth and bring humans to heel. As the Council adjourned, Theon confronted Vaughn in the corridor. "You're making a mistake," he urged urgently. "An invasion will only lead to more bloodshed on both sides. Humans are not to be underestimated." Veron regarded Theon coldly. "You had your chance, diplomat. You failed. Now it's time for a more direct approach." Theon shook his head. "There's another way. Let me infiltrate their society, gather intelligence on their weaknesses. We can use that knowledge to launch a surprise attack, minimizing our losses and theirs." Veron considered this for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Very well, but you will have a limited window of opportunity. If you do not deliver results quickly, we will proceed with the invasion as planned." Theon bowed his head in acknowledgement, his mind already racing with the challenges ahead. He would need to blend in seamlessly with the humans and avoid detection at all costs. But if he succeeded, he could save countless lives on both sides of the conflict. As he made his way back to his quarters to begin preparations for his mission, Theon couldn't shake the feeling that he was walking a razor's edge. One misstep, one moment of carelessness, and everything could come crashing down around him. But he had to try, for the sake of the Federation and the future of both their species. He had to find a way to prevent the coming war, no matter the cost. As the Federation fleet approached Earth, Damian Blackwood rallied humanity under a single banner. Old rivalries and disputes were set aside in the face of annihilation. "It's unite or die, people of Earth." Blackwood's voice boomed from every screen and speaker on the planet. "The time has come to stand together against those who would see us subjugated. We did not start this fight, but by God, we will finish it." Millions took to the streets, their faces set with grim determination. Factories churned out weapons and ships day and night. Soldiers drilled tirelessly, honing their skills with the reverse-engineered alien tech. In the heart of it all stood Blackwood, orchestrating the defense like a conductor before a symphony of destruction. And at his side, an unexpected ally. Theon, the Arcturian, had seen the truth during his time among the humans. They were not the savages Vaughn painted them as, but a species fighting for their right to exist. And so, he made the most difficult decision of his life. He betrayed his own kind to stand with Earth. "They will hit us hard and fast," Theon warned Blackwood as they pored over holographic battle plans. The Federation's tactics rely on overwhelming force and shock value. Blackwood nodded, his eyes glinting with a predatory light. Then we'll give them a shock they'll never forget. Together, they devised a plan as daring as it was desperate. Earth's fleet would lure the Federation into the asteroid belt, where a network of AI-controlled drones lay in wait. As the enemy took the bait, the drones swarmed them like angry hornets. Shields failed, and hulls ruptured under the onslaught. The Federation's rigid formations crumbled into chaos, and that's when Earth's main fleet struck. Led by Blackwood himself, they tore into the disarrayed Federation ships with a fury born of desperation. Theon, in a commandeered Federation fighter, danced through the battle with deadly grace. The Federation had never faced an enemy like this one that could adapt on the fly, that refused to cower or surrender. And as more and more of their ships fell silent, a grim realization began to set in. They had underestimated the humans, and that mistake would cost them dearly. In the end, it was the Federation that fled, their once mighty fleet reduced to a limping shadow of its former self. Earth had stood against the greatest power in the known universe and emerged victorious. But even as the people of Earth celebrated their triumph, Blackwood and Theon knew that the real fight was just beginning. The Federation would not forget this humiliation. They would be back with a vengeance, and Earth needed to be ready. Ready to take its place among the stars, not as a conquered vassal, but as a force to be reckoned with. In the weeks that followed, Theon worked tirelessly to broker a peace treaty between Earth and the Federation. It was a delicate balancing act, one that required all of his diplomatic skills. But he was driven by a newfound purpose. He had seen firsthand the potential of the human race. Their courage, their inventiveness, their sheer stubborn refusal to give up. They deserved a chance to forge their own destiny. And so, after countless hours of negotiations and compromises, the treaty was signed. Earth would be recognized as a sovereign power, with all the rights and responsibilities that entailed. It was a new beginning for both humanity and the galaxy as a whole. And as Theon stood beside Blackwood, watching the ink dry on the historic document, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Pride in the humans who had defied all odds to stand tall among the stars, and pride in himself for having the courage to stand with them. The road ahead would not be easy. There would be challenges and setbacks, enemies both old and new. But one thing was certain: Earth would never again be underestimated, and the galaxy would never be the same. If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Additionally, for each comment containing 88, I will heart every single one. Thank you for your time.